Willie or Wally? Wally's Willie. Oh, we're live. We're talking about Wally's Willie. This is terrible already. Friday night. Here we go. It was supposed to be a bit earlier. We've had a scheduling change, but here we are now. 9 o'clock Eastern time. Middle of the morning, UK time, I suppose. Something like that. Who knows? Maybe you're coming back from the pub. Maybe you want to listen about West Ham. Maybe you want to talk about West Ham and get in the chat room. That's what we're doing tonight. This is Friday Night Likes. This is a game of opinions. Doesn't matter what those opinions are, but they better be good opinions. I got a bunch of questions. I'm going to ask these guys those questions. They're going to give me their answers. And if they're good answers, they'll get a thumbs up. Player with the most amount of thumb wins. Player with the most amount of thumb wins. I've never said that before. I like that, though. Player with the most amount of thumbs wins at the end of the show. Halfway through, we do have a half time. Player with the least amount of thumbs, they get booted out. So everybody's playing to survive in this first round. Second round, we're playing for a winner. Let's go around the room. Let's find who we have in the room. Who are you? Where are you? How do we reach you on social media? And what are you drinking tonight? Let's start with my co-host, adjudicator, thumb counter, and Wally's Willie. Wally, what's going on?
Well, I'm here. We had an early drinking night in King of Prussia. We had happy hour outside in the beautiful fall weather. And so I'm doing really well. And listen, I'm drinking because it's that time of evening. Some Fernet Branca, which is a nice aperitif to, kind of settle the dinner and just, so I'm good.
Well,
Cheers.
you're the classiest man I know using the word aperitif. Well done. What did you start with earlier? Because we were supposed to do the show at 4, so Wally was getting warmed up around 3, weren't you? What were you starting on back then?
I was drinking Coors Light because I've been out and then switched to wine at the happy hour. So now I got to go to
Listen, yeah. I feel like I should keep you in instead of boot you out because it could get interesting. But save all of that enthusiasm for halftime. I'll get rid of you now and let's go meet our guests. I'm in an odd position, so I don't know why I'm all right. So let me start over this way, that way. Chris, who are you? Where are you? What are you drinking? How do we reach you on social?
Hello, everyone. Chris Ritzik. You can find my social media in my name, that's my last name. No one ever knows how to spell or pronounce it. And I am drinking Willett's Bourbon tonight. And once I run out of this, I have a whole beer fridge next to me, so I'll probably siphon from that a little bit.
Good man. Good man. I like a bourbon every now and again. I'm more of a whiskey guy, but you can't beat like that nice rye character on a bourbon.
Me as a gift by my dad just when I went home last weekend. It was this or Four Roses, so I chose this. So
good man. Well, enjoy it. Danny and Dylan, we're moving on to you. Who are you? Where are you? What are you drinking? How do we reach you on social?
I'm kind of taking a break from Twitter, but Danny Hardy on Facebook. Keep the locals. We are in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I am drinking a Dos Equis Amber, and my son is too late for him to be drinking. But he's just had a nice big old chocolate milk. So I'm hoping for the next hour he's good.
Good man. That is responsible parenting there, not letting him chug some Dos Equis. Although he looks like a very interesting man. So
he tries.
Probably played quite well.
He tries.
Good stuff. Danny, good to have you. Lee, who are you? Where are you? Are you drinking? Lee, you're pretty not a teetotaler, but every so often, right?
Yeah, I don't drink that much anymore. You know what I am? I'm drunk on my love for West Ham, and I'm high on Friday Night Likes. That's me. That's where I am right now. Yeah, no, I don't drink that much anymore. So because I'm in my life, all I try to do is lose weight. So can't do that if you're drinking a lot. So anyway, I'm dry. I'm in Chelmsford, Mass, as most of you know, outside of Boston, and I now have my own Twitter account so that nobody gets mad at me for posting things on the American Hammers TV Twitter account. So you can find me at, where am I? You can find me at Lee from AHN, American Hammers Network. And my sons are in bed. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. I'm not saying like that you're a bad father or anything, Danny. I'm just saying that, like, you know.
Thanks,
But
Lee.
my boys are also 7 and 10, and it's much harder to get them to sleep when they're Dylan's age. So
I got to deal with twins. I got to deal with twins that are offsetting off each other.
dude, I don't know how you deal with twins. That is
want to
brutal.
start giving them Dos Equis. That might be the easier
the other
route,
one,
to be honest.
There's Declan.
That's awesome. You know what? A little whiskey on the gums. A little whiskey on the gums. You get it right
There you go, Chris. Get out there.
You're welcome, son.
So that's our guys. Well done. Welcome, everyone. We'll get right into it. We're going to get into the questions. We've got a couple of them, and as always, let's hear your opinions. Let's make some interesting comments and keep it nice and fun for everybody in the chat room. If you want to join in, feel free to have your comments too. So, number one, we're on the international break, which is crap, obviously. So let's talk about the season so far. Have we underperformed? Have we overperformed? Or are we doing just as expected? Which one of those three do you think? And what's your best argument for why it's one of those three? Chris, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So for me, 100% overperforming. Everyone on Twitter was saying that immediately in the first 7 matches, Newcastle was going to be the only chance we were really going to truly have for points. And following that, we looked like we weren't going to pick up any in the 7. I think the most surprising thing has been the formation change. I think that's been key to our success. We were definitely competitive versus Arsenal, which that was a heartbreaking loss in itself. And then just batter Wolves and Leicester by combined 7-0. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I think that was completely out of the woodworks. So 6 points out of the first possible 12, miles overperforming.
I think that we may have a similar sentiment going on, but if anybody wants to throw out an opposing opinion, just for a couple of different viewpoints, I'm happy to entertain that too. Danny, where do you stand? Underperform, overperform, or are we doing as expected?
I agree fully with Chris. We were not expected to get points immediately. We've come out and we've looked like a proper team. There was a situation at the end of last season where basically the job was to come out at the beginning of this year and perform. And Newcastle was dreadful. That's the only game we've underperformed. Very unfortunate to get nothing out of Arsenal. And, Wolves and Leicester not even having a shot on target against us as one of the teams that we've, been dealing with for a few years struggle-wise. I feel like, when you look at the fixture list, we had the hardest start to the season. And the fact that we've got 6 points out of 2 games, one being Leicester away, is just, Newcastle's the only underachieving of the season. But beyond that, I'm very delighted to be a Hammer right now.
Lee, you going to take a different tack than that? Or
No, I can't possibly take a different tack. Listen, both of these guys are completely right. We vastly overperformed. The first 7 fixtures looked like 3 points maximum, and that was probably if we beat Newcastle. When that didn't happen, I panicked. The Arsenal effort was very good. Probably should have had a result out of that of some sort. Beating Wolves 4-0 and Leicester 3-0, there's no way anybody would have predicted that. Moyes has made adjustments. He's gone to the 3 center back system with the wing backs. All of a sudden, Masuaku, who we hope is healthy, and Cresswell look like fantastic players, whereas they were liabilities before. I kind of hope I kind of would like for him to stay at home and continue dialing in to work, because that seemed to work really well for whatever reason with Alan Irvine on the touchline. But listen, for whatever reason thus far, we've vastly overperformed. That's all. Yeah, simple as.
So we've got a body of work of about 4 games now, right? So there's been Newcastle, like you said, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester. Which match out of those 4 was the most surprising performance to you, and why so far, Danny?
I think Arsenal was the most surprising, seeing how we bounced back from Newcastle. The most convincing, in my opinion, was Leicester. To go to a team that have just smacked Man City 5-2 on their own turf and then make them look like we did last season, that's a big showing right there. Also thinking, the first game back from COVID last season was Wolves. We looked terrible. We looked very similar to how we started against Newcastle this season. So it's hard to pick one specific game. Very unfortunate against Arsenal, but I would take the Leicester game as the most convincing. Like I said earlier, especially with no shots on target and making them look very bad.
Lee, which match are you taking as our most surprising so far?
I'm taking the same thing as Danny. It's Arsenal, because I thought we would roll into that one after the poor Newcastle performance and just get tonked by a pretty good Arsenal team. We should have had a result. It was unfortunate that we lost. I think the performance is just a great extent what launched our season. I kind of felt as though against Newcastle there was maybe some holdover from the Grady Diangana sale. We'd lost a lot of momentum. I think our players had lost some confidence in the manager and the ownership and each other. And I was worried that would just carry on and be lead to a disaster in the first 7 games. For whatever reason, and I don't really know what it was, if it was changing tactics, if it was, I don't know why, but for whatever reason against Arsenal, we turned things around. And these last 2 games, listen, which one was the bigger shock? I really don't know. For me, it was probably Leicester because they were top of the table. They hadn't lost. They had just crushed Manchester City. They were looking, like super early title contenders again, and we just went in there and dominated that game in a way I haven't seen West Ham do in years, particularly away from home. So I'm basically telling you what Danny said because I think he's right.
That's why I'm not throwing thumbs all over the place. You got to give me something original. Chris, you got something original for me. Which was our most surprising performance?
Actually, I am taking a different approach. For me, it's Leicester. We always seem to be competitive in London derbies, so I figured that there was a chance going into the Arsenal match, just for that very reason. I was obviously heartbroken. I've always said I'd prefer to be battered 5-0 than to have that much hope and enthusiasm in the Arsenal match and just have it all be crushed. Wolves had lost 2 of the previous 3 going into it. The match with us. So it was possible. Did I think we could get a result? No. Leicester, like you had said, Lee, had just battered Man City. And so it was David versus Goliath at that point. They're such a well-run club, and they looked to be set to do really well this season and to just walk in there and batter them 3-0. I think the more surprising thing for me in general was the consecutive clean sheets. That's what I'm most impressed about. If it was 2 1-0 victories, I would be over the moon just because of the clean sheets. But to add in 7 goals into that makes it even that much better.
That's a great point. I don't think anybody saw that coming, especially between those 2 games. Arsenal, like you, I think Lee and Danny both said, kind of spun our season around. It's still early days, obviously, but it seems to be heading the right way because of that. But I don't think anybody saw those follow-ups coming after the Arsenal match. The performance and the commitment, yes, I think we could have seen the performance and commitment, but the actual scoreline, that was pretty shocking. So let's keep with the surprises, right? So we've talked about which the surprise result was. Who was the surprise player so far? Because we've had a few come in and out, and there's been 1 or 2 injuries already. But who do you think has come in and been the biggest surprise in a good way? Or in a bad way, if you want to talk about that too. Who's been the biggest surprise player for West Ham so far this season? Lee?
It's my man, Aaron Cresswell. Listen, I criticized him last season as much as anybody because he had a very rough season, but I've always liked Cresswell. I think he's been a good servant to the club. He's come up in big moments in the past. He scored the winner at the Bridge last season. He's hit some free kicks over the years. I've always liked Cresswell. I think he can't play left back by himself. Masuaku can't play left back by himself, but the 2 of them together are very effective. So I guess the 2 of them in a way are kind of a package. I think Masuaku is another one too, who's been a big surprise to me. Everybody had written those guys off. And Cresswell, I thought, was aging, but it turns out he just needed some help and some commitment in front of him, which Anderson really wasn't giving him. Masuaku, I always thought was a good player. I don't think I've ever said he wasn't a good player. He just isn't a defender. So we seem to have found a way for these guys to work together. We talk about this a lot, John, how the team is unbalanced, how we haven't found a chemistry among these players. And you could kind of see that in the Everton League Cup match. The old A team didn't come together, couldn't put it together. But in the last couple of league games, you've seen some of these guys like Masuaku and Cresswell step up. And you've seen the continued excellence of Rice and Souček and the people we expected from Jared Bowen, a revelation to us, maybe one of our best signings in years. But if you want to talk about surprise good packages, to me, it's Masuaku and Cresswell, and particularly Aaron Cresswell. And I really hope it continues, and I'm happy to see it because I actually just really like him as a player.
Lee, you got to leave a couple of players for the other guys. Danny.
No, this is the scorched earth. This is the scorched earth.
Scorched earth, yeah.
It's suddenly gone very fuzzy. My surprise player would be Masuaku. I don't want to agree with Lee because I want to, be different. But Masuaku didn't get a look in last year. He got a lot of criticism for being a bad defender. He didn't get a chance to play in a position that he is doing fantastic in now. To be different from Lee, I would also say Balbuena. The only reason I say Balbuena is because we have not had a clean sheet before Diop unfortunately got COVID. Balbuena's come in and he's been solid at the back. And I feel like he's been a leader. I feel like we finally got the general that we wanted in the last 2 games. Balbuena would be my surprise for the season so far. But, I mean, the way we've performed in the last 2 games, they've all surprised me, to be honest. So it's hard to put a finger on a specific player. But between Balbuena and Masuaku, it's really hard to kind of pick one of those 2.
So
I would go Balbuena to be different from Lee.
you say leader, and I want to give you a thumb for that, but tell me, what is he doing that's showing you that he's being a leader?
Buena?
Yeah.
Balbuena, he's just, you can see, at least in the Leicester and Wolves game, he came over to Alan Irvine. There was one incident on the field, and Alan Irvine sitting there talking to him rather than talking to Declan Rice or Mark Noble. Obviously, Noble wasn't on the field, but Balbuena came over, and he's sitting there in the middle of the field. I think it was like the 60th, 65th minute. He got, the ball went out of play. He got some plays together, and he was talking to all of them, kind of like, he's got a little responsibility on his shoulders.
All right.
The last time that Balbuena played a game for West Ham competitively, I can't put a date on it, and I can't think of a game. The fact that he's come in and we've kept 2 clean sheets, to me, is on its own very good against 2 very good teams.
Yeah, I like that. And I think he has done pretty well so far, I got to say. That's a nice combination between him and Ogbonna. Seems to have a good understanding. And he offers a little more in the air that Diop doesn't, I think. Chris, who's the most surprising player for you so far?
So I'm going to take kind of a similar, kind of different approach at the same time. For me, it's not one singular player. It's more our fullbacks in general. Masuaku is obviously impressed massively. Everyone kind of wrote him off, despite we all, like Lee said, no one really said he wasn't a bad player. It was just he wasn't good in that position. Cresswell, when he's in that back 5, he has been a lion in that back 3. Before the injury, Fredericks, he was arguably one of, if not our best player this season. So just contributing massively. And then after the injury, going out and signing Vladimir Kufal and literally in his first match, looking like an impressive player against Leicester. And I saw on Twitter today, I didn't realize this, he had literally, when he went over to London for his medical, that same day, he had actually played in a match. Flew over on Tuesday, I believe, or something like that, Tuesday or Thursday, something like that, had his medical, was playing on the weekend. So our fullback situation going into this summer, everyone kind of wrote off. Everyone said that those were the 2 the priority signings we needed. And it's arguably been our strength, one of our biggest strengths this season. So thus far.
Yeah, I make you about right with that. Like I say, on both sides, I think you're right. There's and hopefully everybody stays fit, and we have the squad depth to deal with any injuries like a Masuaku one that happens that could upset the formation. But that's an argument for another day. So let's do the opposite of that. Which player has been most disappointing to you, and why? Chris, I'll start with you.
So I've been kind of trying to rack my brain in terms of who I think has been the worst. Because for me, the Newcastle game, everyone kind of thought that it might be off to a slow start. And obviously no one really played tremendous that match. Other than that, I really can't point out a weak performance. Everyone stepped up when they needed to. Balbuena, Diop goes down, Balbuena steps right up. Fredericks goes down, Kufal comes in, like I said, and is immediately impactful. I think, though, that if there is one – regarding the club, it's not a surprise, but GSB. Just not bringing in players, and selling on players at the same time and not replacing them. I think by far that is the biggest disappointment, but we all knew it was coming because we know this board too well.
Unfortunately. Lee?
I'm going to take a little different tack because, I do think Chris is right, but I'm going to go with the 100 and some odd million pounds of the and I know he's gone on loan, but the Anderson, Lanzini, and Allaire combination. Frankly, even from the League Cup games, not so much from the league matches. I mean, I know Allaire hasn't really had that much of a chance, and so it's a little unfair to put him in that category. But Lanzini seems really to be pretty much done at this moment. We've shipped Anderson off because I think he was done with us. I think he's lost interest in us. And for me, Issa Diop hasn't had his greatest season. He didn't have the greatest season last season either. But I don't really look at him and think he's been poor. I think what's incredible to me is that you've got like a bunch of guys from the Czech League and the Championship, and Mikel Antonio, who are and Balbuena, who cost us like £5 million or something like that, who are shredding the league at least in the last 2 weeks and played well against Arsenal. And you got like £100 million of Anderson, Lanzini, Allaire, who either are on the bench or when they come in they look disinterested, or now Anderson's gone. So I would say the fancy Dans, right? The expensive guys are the ones who've been the biggest disappointment to me, and they've all been unseated by a bunch of unsung dudes, which I kind of love actually. I just don't know if it's sustainable.
Yeah, time will tell. Dan, most disappointing.
I'm gonna agree with Chris on GSB. Of course, I think it's everyone's most disappointment of the season. To pick a player, I can't pick a specific player again. Maybe the 11 that started the Newcastle game. It's very hard to point bad fingers at players based on the last 3 games. I don't want to agree with Lee. I do. Anderson. It's just, I'm sorry. He's just poor. And for what we've paid, my thing is, is Moyes sticking with what we have right now based on players playing in those positions and results we're getting, or is he not seeing enough from players in training? We don't know what goes on behind doors. So again, Haller, in my opinion, as the record signing, should be starting, but he doesn't start if he doesn't earn it. So for me, Haller has been the biggest disappointment since he's come in. I'm just gonna say Anderson. I can't. It's very hard to pick one this season based on how we started. I go with the 11 from the Newcastle game, and then I'd go with Anderson just for being Anderson.
Well, lucky for you, Dan, he's not with us anymore. So your days of being disappointed by Anderson may be over. I don't know what's going on there. It's truly bizarre. But I think you guys all hit on some points that really there's a lot of disappointment where probably there shouldn't be. We spent a lot of money. We spent a lot of money on some quality, and I think you're right, Lee. I don't think Allah's quite had the chance to get in. I don't think he can unseat Antonio while Antonio's still banging in goals and causing people problems all over the place. So hopefully he's ready to come in when he does. But Anderson and Lanzini in particular, they're not living up to either their transfer fee or the new wage packet that they signed just a year or two ago. So hopefully that turns around. Let's see. Last question before halftime and somebody gets the boot. Chicken, beef, lamb, or pork? Which is the best meat in the world and why? We all want to know. Who haven't I started with lately? Danny.
I was hoping you'd start with me because I'm tired of following on from their fucking answers. You cannot be a medium to medium well-ish filet mignon. I'm sorry, filet mignon with some mushrooms on it. I don't mean to ruin your thumbs up if you don't like mushrooms, John. But a filet mignon with some mushrooms on top, maybe a little bit of English bistro gravy with some mashed potatoes and green beans or something like that. I will never pick a meat over a filet mignon. It has to be cooked just right, and it has to be from a decent restaurant, or you have to cook it right yourself. But yeah, filet mignon easy.
It's spectacular. You're talking porn to me now, Danny. Do you put a little bacon around it? A little bit of bacon around the side, or what?
Yeah, I actually yes, I actually have done that. I do. I wrap it sometimes. I used to be a chef, so sometimes I do my own little concoctions with foods, and I do like little. When we go to Thanksgiving, I do little steak skillets with bacon, pepper, mushrooms, all that stuff, onions on it.
I can smell it. I can
most
smell it
people
now.
just kind of like pull it off the stick and put it in the mashed potato. It's really good. I mean,
Yeah, you come up to Philly anytime you want. You come on up. Chris.
Okay, so I will preface this by saying it's not that I don't like beef, lamb, or pork. But for me, chicken is the best in the world solely because it is the most versatile. You can fry it, you can bake it, you can grill it, you can do all of it. And then for me as well, so not many of you have known this. Last May, I had started a weight loss journey. Started at 258 pounds. As of this morning, I'm about 208. I've lost 50 pounds. And one of the biggest reasons is because meal prepping and chicken. Chicken is one of the most healthiest meats. It's one of the cleanest meats. So it helps in terms of dieting. This entire week, me and a couple of my buddies at the end of November are going to Vegas. So I'm trying to lose a little bit more to get to my ultimate goal. This week I've had nothing but chicken and rice, chicken, avocado, tomato salsa, just chicken.
Thumbs up for the inspiration, and Lee and I constantly trying to lose weight, right? So any of those tips you want to go right ahead.
Run.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Let me just dismiss that immediately. I have to say, I eat chicken every day. Okay, for the same reason Chris does. 2 years ago, I was 273. I'm 5'8". 2 years ago, I was 273. I'm at about 225 now, and so I've done the same thing, Chris, you have, and I'm trying to take more off, and I eat chicken every day. But I'm gonna tell you something, John, and all of you. I am the grandson of a Texas cattle farmer. All right. My grandmother raised cattle for many, many years by herself, basically. And so I can only give the answer beef. And let me tell you why. Let me give you a few reasons why. You can do anything with beef, all right? I mean, you can eat it uncooked. You can have steak tartare or beef carpaccio in France or Italy, which I've had. It's wonderful. You can have, tacos, hamburgers. You can, and as Danny said, listen, if you want to go for an elegant meal, all right, you're never going to order chicken or pork ever. Not if you're spending money. Not if no, you're not. If you're not worried about your weight loss, listen to me. No, wait a minute. If you're not worried about your weight loss, okay, if you're taking a night off, all right, if you're taking a night off, you're celebrating, it's your birthday, your anniversary, you've gotten a promotion, whatever it is you've done in life, you absolutely do not order chicken or pork. You order steak, you order filet mignon, you order something along those lines, all right? It's beef. It's always beef, and it will always be beef. And by the way, it's grass-fed beef from Texas. Just so you know.
No coco van.
I'm not saying no. I'll eat anything without mayonnaise on it that I'm not allergic to. All right, that's that's my thing.
But I'm just saying. Mayonnaise recipe he was telling us about.
I do miss a lamb doner kebab though from England. If I could eat that every week with a little bit of chili sauce.
Danny,
that is not a weight loss protein.
Wait a minute. I request as the host, you make Danny tell us what he told us before the show started.
Yeah,
he has to, because this is what gets him booted off. All right, he brought his son up for the cuteness factor. He brought his son up for the cuteness factor.
Let me get my son before you boot me off. No.
This gets Danny booted off. All right, you got to look. This is.
We just need the surprising item that you said mayonnaise was good on.
Take the fuck. It's just gonna be on here forever.
We should flash a little warning here, okay? A warning. All right, because this is disgusting.
If you're eating right now, swallow what's in your mouth. Take a sponge cupcake. John, get a thumbs up ready for me here, bud. I need your support.
You need a thumbs down.
All right, so take a sponge cupcake that has icing on it, preferably vanilla. Take the vanilla off, make a little hole, put mayonnaise in it. It's not horrible. It's
so
not
bad.
Horrible, guys. I'm serious.
It's not horrible, but it doesn't sound good either.
Why would you ruin a cupcake with mayonnaise?
Because you don't need icing. Icing is just not good. No.
I gotta get this over. Let's get this over to Wally. Wally, I'll be surprised if you don't have a pork joke. So please. Which one of those meats is what you're going with?
Oh, it's got to be the beef. In fact, ribeye steak is the best.
You ribeye guy.
Ribeyes, yes. And according to my son, who is a scientist, he says that all you need to eat is grass-fed beef. You get all your nutrients from it and nothing else. So
he's a man of science. He's a man of science. Well, he knows what he's talking about.
He is a physicist, but nothing to do with nutrition.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is he's a man of science, okay? Just like my wife's a doctor, just not that kind of doctor.
Right.
She's a doctor. She's a doctor of theology, but she gives a lot of good medical advice too.
Where did Danny go? Danny just collapsed from eating mayonnaise-filled cupcakes.
Danny's going to get mayonnaise.
Hey, don't get guys. You gotta try it.
Danny's gonna have a filet mignon with a lovely like cote d'Ivoire.
Are you in the bathroom, Danny?
Yes.
Get on with the score, Wally.
All right. Well,
I should have waited 30 seconds before I
Here we
could
go.
off from my mayonnaise shit, but I couldn't hold it in anymore.
He's gonna have a filet mignon with a nice cote d'Ivoire, and then he's gonna follow it up with a glass of Sancerre and a little mayonnaise on his cupcake.
Have you guys ever put mayonnaise on pizza?
Stop!
I don't eat it on anything. I can't even smell it. It makes me ill. I can't get near it.
I just muted him. I can't listen to that, Danny. Wally, get on with it.
okay, here we go.
Hey, Wally.
So we have clearly clear leader is Chris with 12 likes.
Ooh.
And then controversially, we have a tie of Danny and Lee with 10 likes. So I'm going to break the tie, and I am going to give it to the guy that eats the mayonnaise, because my wife is from New Orleans and she eats mayonnaise on everything, so she would approve of.
Oh my word!
Lee, I'm sorry, we got to talk.
Unbelievable! The strategy backfires.
Yes.
Woo!
That is incredible viewing. I don't know what just happened there. Lee, I'm so sorry.
Right.
I got to boot you while we get in the second half. Either hang around in the green room or get into the chat and say hello to everybody in there. We've got plenty of people in it tonight. Let's get to it. Wally, thank you. I'll see you at the end. Let's get back to the questions. Got a couple more left to decide the winner after that cliffhanger involving mayonnaise. So we just spoke about Felipe Anderson, and everybody knows he's off to Porto. So give me your best argument why Felipe going to Porto is a good move for the club. Chris, let's start with you.
So the reason there's two paths with it that are potential. First of all, if he goes and improves his confidence, like he smashes the league, then he can, with no buy-on clause in the loan contract, he comes back and he can prove himself again potentially in the Premier League. He can prove that my confidence is back. Give me a second chance. Or if his confidence is soaring and we really are done with him, we can help recoup the money we paid for him. His transfer value will go up tremendously. As it sits right now, it's probably not even half of what we paid for him. And we do run a little bit of a risk, though, at the same time, because if he does go and doesn't play well, he comes back, he's going into a contract year and he's virtually worthless. And we're going to end up not being able to recoup the $36 million, high transfer budget. And we're probably going to end up doing a Wilshire with him and terminating his contract.
God, I hope not. Danny, why is it a good move for the club?
I think it's a good move for him to gain his own confidence. Again, like Chris said, and come back and kind of build. He's going to a league where it's not as competitive. He can get on the ball a little bit more and do his own thing, but he can also learn a little bit. He's going to a league where he's got time to adjust because there's not many big teams in the Portuguese league. I can only name about 3 or 4 that are decent.
I can only name 2, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, well, like you think Sporting Lisbon, Porto, and then, Rio Ave, or, just shit. It's a shit league. It's a league that he can develop. He came here with a lot of expectations and hasn't fulfilled those yet. It's a chance for him to get his confidence back. It's a chance for him to grow as a player, mature as a man, and it makes me happy because I dislike the guy, but it makes me happy to say he's not done with West Ham. He wants to come back and prove himself. So this is a league where he can go and prove himself because he's got the time to do so. So I just think it's a good move for us personally that we're not getting him off the wage bill. We're not selling him, but we're giving him a chance to improve so that he can come back and fight for his place and improve our team.
Yeah, I hope he comes back. I think confidence is probably number one, right? I mean, that's a good Felipe Anderson is a good player to have, and I hope we get that player back. So go against your own arguments here and tell me why is it a bad move for the club to let go of Felipe Anderson to Felipe Anderson to Porto right now? Why would it be a bad move, Danny?
We don't have wingers. Selling Diangana. I much rather would have, if we were going to sell one of the two, I would rather have sold Anderson. It comes into play now that obviously Masuaku's injury is a big factor. He's playing out in where Anderson could be playing a little bit deeper than Anderson will be playing, but it's that side of his side of the field. Anderson's the kind of player that can get a free role and maybe thrive off of that. But with him not being there now, it's left us very short on the left side of the field. Selling Diangana was obviously a big mistake. Anderson could have fulfilled that role. We've got rid of him now, and it's very hard to look in our squad at who is a natural winger, because we know Fornals is not a natural winger, even though he's been performing there. Anderson's position is a winger, and we're very short there. Very short.
We've got 8 wingers according to our board, but Chris, so what's this? Why would this be a bad move?
So just like Danny said, first of all, we lose a winger. Second of all, it's squad depth overall. Not only can he play winger, he can play down the middle. And with getting rid of Wiltshire and Cullen, now behind Souček and Rice, we only have Noble and Snodgrass, who I believe are a combined age of 66. So we don't have any real creativity behind Declan and Souček. We just have 2 guys who just can run and run and run, but not quickly. Second of all, like I had said in my in the previous portion, it is a bit of a gamble, because if they are trying to get him to recoup, to improve his form and improve his confidence, to be able to recoup their losses, if he goes and doesn't do well or doesn't even play, then it kind of makes the contract null and void. In a sense, it screws us more than anything, because we lost him for a year and we're not getting the money back.
Well, does it tank it any more than where he currently is, though?
I mean, like I had said, he's going into a contract year on high wages. So if he comes back and has no confidence, no one's going to want to buy him. And if they do, it's going to be 10 million or so, which is massive losses. Or we're going to either have to A, buy out his contract to get him off the books, or B, we're just going to have to let him rot on the bench until the year and his contract's going to expire.
Who's paying for his wages at Porto right now?
They are, I think.
I believe it's a 50-50 split, or Porto's taking the majority.
Okay, so can I add on to my point here? And if not, that's fine. I don't need to. But
Go on, Dan. You got something to say. Say it. Come on.
All right. Well, okay. So if Porto we've got a few days left of the transfer window. If Porto are paying wages on this player, that gives us a chance to open up the bank checkbook again and use the money that they're paying on a player to improve our squad depth. It doesn't necessarily, I know it's only championship players. We've been linked with Josh King and Rico Henry and Steve Cook and Craig Dawson.
I can name all
the greatest players. They're not the greatest players, but it's squad depth.
Chris got the list.
Yeah, it's
141 players.
That money can be used for what's around us.
And hopefully it will be. So, all right. So let me put yourself in Felipe Anderson's shoes right now. Is this a good move for him on a personal level, on a professional level? Is a move to Porto away from West Ham a good move for him? Who did I start with last time, Chris? So we'll go to Danny.
I went first last time.
No, go ahead then, Chris. I can't even keep up, mate.
Well, in my opinion, yes. I think it is a good move for him, because he wasn't going to get much game time at West Ham this season, at least, unless someone went down, even though he's right now our only out-and-out left winger. But more importantly than that, Portugal is a bit of an easier league than the Premier League. So he can go there and in his form, regain his confidence. Like I believe he called into the Jim White show on Talk Sports saying that he loves the fans. He wants to prove it himself. He wants to come back and do well for this club. Not any other club, just he wants to prove himself in the Premier League too. Now, if that's to get a bigger fee somewhere else later on down the line, that's yet to be determined. But I think that with a new scenery, he's going to be able to kind of reinvent himself, kind of improve his form, and increase it, or like better his attitude, and come back a potentially better player.
Here's hoping to that for sure. Danny, you agree with that, or why is this a good move for Felipe? If you're Felipe,
I do agree. I feel like he's been left in the dark, and he may feel like he has something to prove. Well, he knows he has something to prove. West Ham are not the biggest club in the world. You come from Lazio to West Ham with high expectations. You underperform. You don't do as you're supposed to do. You've got a high price tag. We want more out of you than what we're getting. Go out and rebuild yourself. Go out and get your confidence back. Come back and show us what you can do. Show us you want to play for us. Wear the badge with pride. I think it's a great move for him. It's a league, like I said earlier, that he can adjust and change his game plan. I don't know who his coach is there, but maybe acknowledge your surroundings. Listen to, instructions better. Maybe his English isn't so good that under David Moyes, I can't even understand David Moyes, and I'm English. So, I mean, maybe he's just, it's a chance for him to definitely grow as a player. He's at a decent age where he's still got time to adapt. But there is time for him to come back and make a name for himself at West Ham. But right now, he's not getting in our first team squad, first team lineup, which rightfully so. But given time and given the chance, I think it's there for him to do it. I think it's a great move for him.
So either way, he's gone, right? And if we had, maybe not last season, but our first season with Felipe, he was very good, had a few goals and chipped in a bunch of assists. Who do you think is the most likely to successfully fill those shoes? Who's gonna start providing those goals and assists that we desperately need? Dan?
Pablo Fornel's easy for me. He's work rate, his vision on the ball, his ability to find a through ball. He's working off of. I feel like he's got an understanding with runners. He's got Antonio ahead of him that runs all the channels. He's got Bowen that comes from the right to the center. He acknowledges his surroundings again. What he showed through ball wise against Leicester for the Bowen goal. What he showed through ball for Bowen's debut goal. His vision on the field is tremendous. I feel like he's always in the right place. He doesn't necessarily finish all of his chances, but he's always there. He lingers. He doesn't stay on the left side where he starts. He moves, which is, to me, a great footballer. In order to be a good footballer, you got to get on the ball. You've got to want the ball. You've got to go. If you're not getting the ball, you go to the ball to get it. That's what he does. I feel like he is playing a free role position for us right now. But, when you see a team sheet, they always start him on the left side. I don't look at Fornells as a left-sided player. I look at him as a player that is give me the ball and watch what I can do kind of player. And that's what he does. I think Fornells is fantastic right now.
You'll see him. He plays left wing when we're in our own half. And he plays kind of left and central when we're attacking. So he is getting about for sure. Chris, who's most likely to chip in with those goals and assists?
So I don't think it's going to be one individual player. First of all, I think that it's going to be a team effort just to replace what he had provided in the first year that he was here. Second year, he didn't do anything. So it's hard, or I think he had 1 assist. So it's not too tough to make up for that. But I think the two players most likely to are, like Danny said, Pablo Fornells and Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen being both of them have already shown this season that they're both up for it, getting on the score sheet several times, several assists. Bowen is just one of those players that goes and goes and goes, and hard to take off the ball. He's just like Antonio. So I don't think that like I said, I don't think it's going to be one individual player. I think it's going to be a team effort. But if there was going to be 1 or 2 players, it's going to be split between Pablo Fornells and Jared Bowen.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Danny edges the Fennell's piece because I think he does have just a little bit more vision than Bowen.
Yeah.
But I think Bowen's going to get more goals than Fennell's for sure. So you're right on that, Chris. It will be a combination of both of them. Let's get into our last question tonight. If the following players were a type of junk food, what type of junk food would they be? Chris, we're going to start with you. And the first player is David Martin. What type of junk food is David Martin?
So I've been trying to rack my brain on these all like since the questions came. It's not pretty. Like I'm not good at like comparisons, but if I were to have to say for David Martin, I think it would have to be like the local pizza place. That it's not great, but it's you can have it a few times, but you don't want it like every meal, and you don't want it every weekend. You don't want it constantly. It's okay here and there, but it's not your preferred place.
That's a solid answer. Dan, what type of junk food is Dave Martin?
I would go with bubblegum. He's stuck here now. he's not going anywhere. Let's face it, he's not going anywhere else. I mean, he's at that age, and he's stuck here based on who his father is, and I don't want to put junk with the name David Martin after his Chelsea performance, but I would just go bubblegum. Just a simple answer of bubblegum, just being stuck.
Oh, I like that, and he definitely landed his dream job. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. I do like Jass's answer in the comments. Plain flavored crisps.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's not a bad one.
No, that's not
bad at all. We'll definitely, Jazz. Maybe I'll keep these questions for you, Jazz, so you can answer when we get you on. Declan Rice, Dan.
I would go a Milky Way midnight bar for Declan Rice.
What is that? What is that?
I never had that. It's like dark chocolate.
All right, so you're going dark chocolate. Tell me why.
It's very good chocolate. It's very good. It's my favorite chocolate. He's my favorite West Ham player. It's very good. He's very good. This junk food question gets me, man.
Yeah, your comparisons are so shit. I'm going to give you another thumbs up because they're that good at the same time. They're so bad, they're good. Chris, what is Declan Rice? What type of junk food?
So for me, I have to go with my favorite fast food. It's Chipotle. He's got everything in his locker. It's just a bit of everything. For me, I can have it for any and every meal. No, it's probably not good too, but it's absolutely my favorite.
It's got everything. Oh, Chipotle is good though, isn't it? It shouldn't be as good as it is.
No, it should not be.
You get the wrap.
It also fits that the base of the food is rice and Declan Rice. So
yeah, I'm glad you didn't say that live. Chris.
So for Cebollaire, I'd say McDonald's. You never know what you're gonna get with it. You don't know if it's kind of hit or miss. You never know if it's gonna be good or not. And primarily, the service is always relatively slow. So,
ooh, a good point about service. I like that.
So why are Americans obsessed with Chipotle? Because it's the best. Sorry, I had a...
Did you freeze?
Ooh.
No, you're in. Sebastian
okay.
to you, Dan.
Sebastian Haller, I would go with Sour Patch Kids.
Interesting.
I don't even know why. I don't know why I have in my head Sour Patch Kids. He doesn't celebrate after he scores. It's like a bad taste in your mouth. It's just I've had that answer all day since I saw the questions. It's just he doesn't celebrate. He seems like he's got a little bit of an attitude, which Sour Patch Kids have a little attitude with me because I have acid reflux, and I just feel like Sour Patch Kids is a perfect answer for Haller. You can give me a
It
thumbs
looks
down
like
on
he's
that.
chewing on them at any given time, so I could see that. What about last one of the night, Masuaku? Dan, we'll start with you.
I'd go with Indian food. I'd go with a good vindaloo. I'd go with someone that you can eat it once a month and be okay with it. The comparison there is Masuaku can come in the team and do a job, like an Indian food can knock on my door and do the job. You know,
Fair enough.
I like a little spicy vindaloo, and I like an Arthur Masuaku dribble. I see a lot of comparisons there.
But only once a month.
Vindaloo.
Chris.
So mine's kind of weird. I'm gonna say Orbeez. Orbeez used to be really big in America, at least for a time. Then it kind of died off, at least in my area. Now it seems to be making a massive comeback. Everyone seems to be enjoying it, but it's also like McDonald's. You never know exactly what you're gonna get. The sandwich could come out completely
You're gonna get
terrible.
roast beef.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you never know if it's going to be quite right.
The cheese crap that they have too. Nothing's good. The fries are good at Arby's, but the sandwiches are awful.
Now they're coming out with like gyros and stuff and chicken sandwiches. So they're trying to.
They should not be in the hero game at all. They should not be in that. That's not their thing. But alas, they are, and Arby's they have the meats, so that they'll do anything. Wally.
Look at Wally's face right now.
Wally is so happy. He's so drunk.
Look at him. I fucking love
Wally. Actually, Wally, which junk food is Declan Rice, Wally?
Declan Rice? I would say he's a Wawa.
Oh, you're going regional.
Wawa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say Wawa, which is a local.
Wawa?
Yeah, exactly. What's a Wawa?
I've not had Wawa, but I know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I never even heard of a Wawa.
It's basically a 7-Eleven, but they do wonderful, made to order, whatever you want, sandwiches. They cover everything. They do everything.
So like
you get whatever you need.
You guys have sheets?
Oh,
yeah, it's like a sheet.
From PA as well. PA is west of Harrisburg is Sheets and east is Wawa.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So you drive in there, you fill up your petrol tank, and you order a sandwich on their app, and they bake their bread fresh there every day, and they just make these delicious sandwiches. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they do everything.
They do, and they're a good drunk destination for cheese fries and stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about that another time because Wally's got to go down there right now. Wally, who's won the show?
Well, we've had a very close match here with some very high scores. We have Danny with 24 and Chris with 25. So Chris pulls off the win, 20 by 1 like.
Awesome.
That is a very close one.
Well done,
well played, Danny. Well played.
You guys back into the room. Chris, you got your minute to address the West Ham faithful in the crowd. What do you have to say to them? We're on international break. Do you have any message to the West Ham fans out there?
Keep the faith. I mean, hopefully we can keep this run going. I'm confident. I think one of the hammer outs, I said in the first 7 matches we were going to be at 13 points. We're halfway there. But feel free to follow me. Obviously, again, right, my Twitter handle is in my name. And please come out for the post-match shows. Irish Tommy and I do them every week or after every match, and it's always enjoyable. And now both of us have won one of these, so it's even better.
Fantastic. Yeah, you guys do a great job, and definitely tune into those after the matches. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Lee, who's in the chat room. Thank you, Wally's wife, who is in the chat room. Wally, you logged in on the wrong thing. And it's everybody on. This is Friday Night Likes. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to American Hammers TV and network. Go follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. Make sure you retweet, get the word out. Everybody can have a good laugh. And with that, I think that's it. We'll see you next Friday. And in the meantime,
thank you for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, and well played, Danny. Well played.